What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. In today's video, we're going to go through the brand new Dancer's Path event that's going on in-game right now. We're going to break it down. We're going to go through each of the rewards and each of the paths so that we are informed and make the most educated decisions we can in terms of how best to navigate this event. So let's jump right into it. All right, first things first. So we got a 3-day event here. In total, we have 25 Esme fragments here. So if you guys are going for the Esme fusion, there's going to be 25 fragments up for grabs. The best thing about this entire event is that we do see increments of 5 fragments for Esme, which is great. This gives people a lot of flexibility on how many fragments they want to pick up, how many fragments they can leave behind. Initially, I thought maybe it was like going to be split up into 10 and 15. So it's nice to see a bunch of 5s here. The 2 main prizes in this event is going to be the Esme Soul and the Modo Soul. The Modo is the Esme's partner, the DPS partner. He is currently offered in a progressive event right now that's going on. How do we get points in this event? So we're going to be getting points from the Dungeon Diver, so Dungeon Diver component, as well as Summon Shard component. So Summon Shard component looks pretty standard here. 4,500 for the Secret Shard. It's going to be the most efficient in terms of getting points. You can supplement that by doing your Dungeon Divers here. As with Dungeon Diving, there is a couple dungeons going on right now, so you can maximize your energy spend. You can do the Queen's Fury for some additional rewards, or the Fire Knight tournament, which is part of the Esme fusion. So you can get a little bit of double dipping there. But of course, the bulk of your points probably are going to come from shards, as this is basically a glorified summoning rush. Anyways, let's break down the paths and the points needed for each reward. All right, guys, any excuse we can have to use the this little stylus pen here, definitely want to do that. Funny thing is, I did break my finger the other day, so I will be using the good hand. At least it's on the good hand. But I did break my finger on my left hand the other day, so that's going to be a couple weeks of recovery. But yeah, let's just double check that this thing works, and it works. Happy face. Nice. I got a nice new position for this. Okay, let's do the breakdown here. So we don't have any keys to start off this entire path here. Let's start off with the cheapest alternative. So the cheapest alternative here would be 5 fragments. So 5 fragments, you can go down left or right, pick up 5 fragments here, and then dip out. Keep in mind that for a fusion, if you guys are participating, you guys can only skip 15. Only skip a total of 15 frags, okay, guys? So skipping 20 here is probably not advised. But to get 5 here, it's going to cost you 17,000 points. Okay, so 5 fragments, 17,000 points. That's roughly about 4 sacred shards worth for 5 fragments. Keep in mind, again, we can only skip 15 total. So that means we must go for the second 5 frags on the other hand side, whichever way you want it to be, whichever way you go first, doesn't matter. But 10 frags is going to be exactly double that. So you're looking at 34k points, which is going to cost you in total 7.5 sacred shards. So 7.5 sacred shards, and you guys get 10 fragments, and you guys are still basically in the running for the fusion. Assuming that you skip the 15 fragments that you're allowed to in this entire fusion on this event, that means you have to complete every single event from here on out. All right, guys, keep that in mind. But 7.5 sacred shards here, it's honestly not too bad, just to keep yourself in the running for the secrets. That means you're going to have to complete the champion chase at the end of the fusions. It is a 2x event for the champion chase, most likely, which is not the best. But if you guys have fragments or mystery shards, you guys can bang out that champion chase fairly easily and then get this fusion rather easily. Otherwise, if you guys want to go for more fragments, this is how much it's going to cost you. All right, so in addition to each of the 5 fragments on the side, you're going to have to pick up both of these keys as well, because it's going to cost 2 keys to unlock the middle section of this path. Now we're going to go down to pick up 15 fragments in total. That's going to cost you an additional plus 5,000, so plus 5k for a total of 15 frags. So now the total cost is going up from 34 plus 5. So you're now at 39,000 fragments for 15 frags, 39K. If you want to go down and pick up the remaining pieces, remaining 5 times 2, so remaining 10, you're going to have to go down each of these arms here, the left and the right in the middle. You're going to pick these guys up. They look like they're the identical costs. So left and right. So 3,500, 8,500 plus 7,500. So that's 16. So that's 19. So plus 19K per 5 fragments. So every additional 5. Okay, so plus 19K. This is very expensive down the middle. These last two 5 fragments, so total 10 fragments, is very expensive. Obviously, the big rewards are here, the epic relic material and the legendary relic material, costing quite a hefty sum compared to the other fragment paths. So looks like the event is set up so that people most likely will just be going for either 10 or 15. They don't want people to get 25 from this hero's path very easily, or at least very cheaply. So in total, if you want all 25 fragments, you're looking at 77,000 points for the total 25 fragments in this event. That's very, very expensive, costing you a total of 17 sacred shards. So 17 sacred shards, you can get 25 of them. This means that if you can pick everything up in this event for 17 sacred shards, it means you can skip the champion chase that's coming, or you can skip basically 15 fragments worth of events. Is that worth it for 17 sacred shards worth of stuff? Honestly, it really depends. It kind of is worth it, to be honest, because if you think about it this way, you're basically doing this hero's path in combination with the champion chase. So if you think about it as a summoning rush and a champion chase put together, 17 sacred shards for basically 2 events worth of points isn't that unreasonable, right? So if you had a lot of sacred shards, for example, this event to cover everything you needed from the upcoming champion chase, it's actually not a bad deal, to be honest. You won't get a sacred shard boost or anything, because the sacred shards is likely going to get boosted next weekend. But you're going to be able to get the fusion basically done from a shard standpoint, and then you still have to just finish the rest of the events. The rewards along the way for 17 sacred is not that great, but not bad, right? You're picking 100 of these legendary relic materials, 100 of the epic relic materials, 15 of the medium essences here, 100 of the Shogun potions. So not too terrible, but obviously for 17 sacred shards, you would like to see something like maybe a mythical book, maybe a big stone. But usually the mythical book and the big stone come at about 20. Now, that's one option. Keep in mind that there is a dungeon diver component, and there are going to be dungeon diver events happening. So dungeon events, for example, so you can farm those at the same time. You get some extra points towards these fragments, so it saves you some shards in the end. Keep in mind that the dungeon diver component is not going to be, big on the points, so it's not going to save you too much, but it's going to save you maybe 1 sacred, maybe 2 sacreds down the line. And yeah, you don't necessarily need to use sacreds. You can definitely use other shards to supplement, but sacred shards gives you the most points at 4,500 each. Now, the fun stuff comes with the souls here at the 50K mark. So assuming that you don't want the middle stuff's going to cost you 38,000 points, right? So if you don't want any of the middle stuff, that includes these 10 fragments, you can work towards one of these souls. Keep in mind that you have to go through a 10K book. That's going to be the cheapest option, and then you're going to pay 50K for one of the souls. So that's 60K here, right? That's going to be more expensive than all of this middle stuff. You're going to be paying way more for the souls than you are going to be paying for basically 10 fragments, 100 of these relic material, 100 epic material, etc. It's very expensive, even at the cheapest route. Because if you're still doing the fusion, I assume if you're doing the fusion, that's why you want the 5-star soul. You still have to do both of the left and the right, the red ones. You still have to do the left and the right ones. You can obviously save the key on this side, but you still have to go through the key on one side and then make it all the way to the Esme here. So total to do 10 fragments. So the total to do 10 frags and the 5-star soul for Esme, it's going to cost you 95. So 95 total points for the 5-star and 10 fragments. Because I am assuming that you are going for the 5-star 5-star soul because you are going for the fusion. And if you're going for the fusion, that means you need a minimum of 10 frags from this hero's path. This works out to 95,000 points, which works out to 21 sacred shards. Now, if you asked me if you could pay 21 sacred shards, which is basically, it's equivalent to it's about 10,000 points for a regular summon rush. If you said to me that you were paying 21 sacred shards to get all the fragments for a fusion, and at the final milestone, you're getting a 5-star soul for that fusion, I would say that's a pretty good deal, because generally at the 10k mark for a summon rush, you're getting a big stone, right? So instead of the big stone, you have a known value here for a 5-star soul for Esme, the fusion that you're going for. Granted that the rewards going up to Esme are probably not as good, because you're basically just picking up one Lego book and basically 100 Lego relics. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. You're probably missing maybe like a mythical book or something like that. Along the way, maybe a 5-star chicken. So you're not getting the full summon rush rewards. But if you said that you were paying 21 sacred shards, maybe less with a mix of dungeon diver, and you're getting all the fragments towards a fusion and a 5-star soul for that fusion, I would say that's a pretty good deal. The problem is Esme, I mean, she's not that crazy of a champion that you really, really want or need the 5-star soul for her. For example, if this was the Thor fusion and then you told me that Thor's 5-star soul cost 21 sacreds in this same situation, I'd be like, yeah, that's a slam dunk. Of course you would go for that. But in this situation, I'm not too sure who would really go out of their way for the 5-star soul for Esme, just to enhance her abilities further. I don't think she really needs it. I think she's a slightly above mid champion. She's going to fit in some rosters. I'm not going to say she's bad, because she's not bad. She's actually pretty decent, especially with the AoE block bust, with the weekend A1 team-wide attack and all that. Her passive is also pretty good too. Speed in all battles aura and all that. So she's very decent. But to go out of your way to get the 5-star soul, maybe not. Maybe not. If you're low on shards, if you're low on resources, you probably spend your shards here to go down the pink path in the middle, pick up the last 10 fragments, and then just be done with the shard component for this fusion. You have, a week or two to save up for the event after the fusion, which would probably be a Titan event for something else. So you at least have some time to save up after this event. So if you have the resources to basically get all the fragments in this fusion right now, and you feel like you're kind of strapped for shards, I would probably spend it now, because if you had to risk, trying to complete like a champion chase a week from now, and then spend more shards, it might not be worth it for you, right? But you got to manage your own account, make sure it makes sense for you. But overall, I think in all the scenarios here, I think it's pretty reasonable in terms of what you're getting, in terms of what it's relative to. Like I said, you're paying basically 17 sacreds to complete 2 shard events, right? Which is roughly what they would cost anyways. And also you can mix in dungeon divers into this event, so you're gonna alleviate some of that cost a little bit. If you're inclined to go for the 5-star soul, to be honest, it's probably not a bad deal overall. But whether you really need the 5-star soul for Esme, that's up to you to decide. The Moto soul is even more interesting, because not many people will have Moto. Like, the champion's like 4 or 5 days old. We just have a progressive today. I don't know, he could benefit from it, because he's a damage dealer. He requires accuracy. He'll get more damage from his 5-star and all that. So he can definitely benefit from it a little bit more if you have him. Whether he's worth going for, for 50,000 points, that's also up to you. Quick reminder that during this entire event, there's going to be a couple dungeons that will be active for you guys to farm in. Fire Knight, the Queen's dungeon is going to be open, and then there's going to be a little bit of Dragon as well. So there's 3 dungeons open that you can spend the energy in, and there's going to be a training tournament as well. So basically 4 things you can spend energy in that will contribute points towards this hero's path. So it's going to bring down your shard count, shard requirement a little bit. So maybe that changes your mind on some of these things. Personally speaking, I'm not 100% decided yet on what I want to do on both my accounts. One of my accounts has close to 70 sacred, so I think I probably just spend it here just to get this fusion done in terms of the shards. My other account has a little bit less, is like 38 sacreds, so I could spend 17 just to get all this stuff done, or I can take the 10 fragments here, 10 or 15 actually. 15 is actually not too expensive, and then take a shot at the champion chase that's coming up, pull some mystery shards, just do it a little bit more shard friendly, more efficiently, and just pick up the final fragments there. I think that might be the play for me, just to conserve a little bit of sacred shards. I don't really feel super great about spending like 17 sacred shards all at once, just because it puts me a little bit low just in case. But to be honest, I'm not holding out my breath. I'm not holding my breath for like a guaranteed, sacred event or anything like that. We just recently had a 1+1 sacred event as well. So not too sure. I don't think too much is going to happen on that front. But sacred shards don't really happen too often, so I would like to conserve it whenever possible. But anyways, that's going to be my plan. I think I'm going to pull the full shebang on one of my accounts, and on the other one I'm probably going to go for 10 or 15 fragments in this one, and then save the remaining 10 for the champion chase at the end, and then I'll just pull like mystery shards or something, just do it like super efficiently. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully it was informative to you guys. Let me know what you guys are planning to do. There is a progressive event happening right now, like I said. Take a quick look at the champions up for grabs. So like I said, the Moto partner is here. We got Altan of the Shell, Ancora, Cupidus, Rhodos, and Sisia. We also have some pretty nice Void champions up for grabs as well. Narcissus, Cardio, Sifi, and Venus. The Voids definitely are much better than the non-Voids. But it's not an insane, progressive event by any stretch. But if you really want Moto and you pull him, you get the soul up for grabs. He can be pretty decent, right? If you got all that all together. But otherwise, like, I'll probably pull, and then I'll just say like probably Rhodos will go in here just so I can get a +2 or something like that if I pull something. Keep in mind that the progressive chances are very low of occurring, even if you hit. The rates are not boosted or anything like that, so it's a long shot either way. But yeah, anyways, best of luck if you guys are pulling. Thank you guys for watching as always. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are planning to do, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.